So, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. We're going to begin our personnel meeting this Thursday, September 26th. We have a lot of great information to share. Ms. Gardner and her team have been working well, so I'm going to turn it over to you, Ms. Gardner, so you can presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me just share my screen and get this presentation up for us. All right. So again, welcome everyone to the Personnel Committee meeting. Just a couple of updates that I want to provide. Going to be talking about the staffing, our school vacancies, the tenure awards, new teacher induction, and contract negotiations. Those are the items that I have for this evening. Excuse me, let me move this window. I apologize. Okay. So for staffing updates, I'm happy to report that between January 1st and June 30 of 2024, we received 876 applications for certified positions and 234 applications for non-certified positions. And between July 1st, 2024 and today, we've placed 69 candidates across school buildings for this school year. I'd like to highlight that 3 of the critical positions that we had were filled. The school safety supervisor, that's Tracy Pratt, who is replacing Gary Rickards, who retired in June. We have Dr. Corey Haley, who is the assistant principal of the PLC, and Brian Sandman, who's the technology supervisor. So those were the 3 critical admin positions. Our greatest need remains instructional positions. I've worked with Libby Brown, who is the AP over at the high school. She recommended 15 Penwood High School graduates, and they were contacted in writing and encouraged to apply not only for the instructional assistant positions, but also for substitute secretary positions that we have. Also want to note that for this year, the 24-25 school year, in terms of teachers hired, 23 certified teachers were hired. If you recall, last year for the 23-24 school year, we had 28 teachers who were working on emergency permits. And by August of 2024, 22 of those 28 had completed their coursework and their educational obligation. So we're on the right track, and we have certified teachers in our classrooms, which of course was always the goal. Are there any questions on the staffing updates?
Hey, I'm sorry. Have we talked internally about increasing the salary for IAs to be more competitive in the workforce?
That is something that is going to be addressed. Their contract expires in June of 2025, and those negotiations are set to begin in January. And that is on the calendar to discuss.
Right. And my second question, and I'm sorry I'm driving, I don't know if I'm out of place. For the autistic support vacancies and the sciences in the high school, is there how are those openings being handled from a substitute environment or something like that? Because I know as a board we approved a lot of subcontractors to fill holes, is that helping? Thank
It
you.
is helping. It is helping. So, that's a perfect segue into the next section, Ms. Hoff, in terms of vacancies. So what I have here on the screen are the vacancies at the buildings. Now we have 18 instructional assistant vacancies. We have 8 sped teacher vacancies and 4 SSO vacancies. Now, in terms of the IAs and the teachers, we do have agent special ed, Kate Cross's team is working to fill those holes until we have a certified teacher in that vacancy or an IA in that vacancy. So there are temporary, I don't want to call them Band-Aids, but there are people who are filling those as we continue to look for a permanent replacement or permanent placement, not replacement, permanent placement.
Thanks, Ms. Tracy.
Mhm. Are there any other questions on the vacancies?
Can I add one more thing? I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
So we had a number of transfers this year, and they made some of those vacancies. Do we ask people why they are transferring schools? Do we do sort of like a quasi exit interview? I had asked Ms. Boykins about this earlier. She said to bring it here.
Sure. Typically, I do not, but I can if that is the desire. A lot of the transfers happen. I just want to get out of this building, and in some cases, the reasons are known. So I don't necessarily do
Yeah.
an interview, like I said, because in some cases the reasons are known.
Yeah, well, for I guess the unknown reasons, it would be interesting to understand why people are switching buildings. I think it would be interesting to understand.
Okay. I can do that. Provided I get no pushback from the union about asking their members questions that they feel that they don't have to answer, but it's certainly something that I'm willing to do.
I understand. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. For the tenure awards, we have 10 teachers who gained tenure this year: Rachel Albert, Krista Carpenter, Robin Federoff, Dominique Kernhoffel, Tracy LeBose, Madison Lally, Donna Rossi, Kristen Salvato, Christine Weckelsblatt, and Mary Winchester. So we just want to say congratulations to those 10 teachers for gaining tenure. New teacher induction. This is great. We kicked off on September 18th. It's at Penwood High School this year. Years past, we had them at Park Lane, but it's now at Penwood High School. We have 25 participants for this year. As you know, the teachers must complete an induction program to convert their Instructional 1 certificate to an Instructional 2. The program concludes on May 7th. It is the first Wednesday of every month from 4 to 6. Are there any questions on the new teacher induction? Contract negotiations. So Act 93, we had a meeting on September 24th. So we're working through some of those items. We hope to be finished and have something for the board in November. The school safety officers, the next meeting is tentatively scheduled for October 16th. But of course, it's our goal to have a multi-year agreement for both groups by December. Like I said, for Act 93, we're looking for November, but definitely December. And WPEA, the teachers, is ongoing. We have a meeting coming up just to discuss some of the small items. And in January, we will begin with ESPA, the IAs and secretaries, that group. And again, Ms. Hoff, salary is definitely at the top of the list to discuss. We recognize that it is an issue, and we're looking to see what we can do to make it better for everyone. Is there any discussion or any additional questions?
Ms. Tracy, no, I don't have any questions. I just want to thank you guys. You guys have been doing a lot of work, your team. And I guess once we are done, is there any way for us to send updates to the board prior to the finalized contract, maybe for the October time, to share just an update of where we are with the negotiations for all of the contracts? Is that
Absolutely.
possible?
Yes.
Okay.
That
way the
was
board knows where we
always the
are.
plan.
Okay,
That was always the plan.
perfect. Yeah. That's all I have. And just again, thank you. Hopefully we continue to bring in more staff and look into some, continue to look into different ways to get people on board, especially our IAs. I know that's a challenging area right now. But hopefully we can figure out an inventive way to kind of bring people back into the district in that position.
I hope that some of these grads that were recommended by Libby Brown respond. I have not gotten anything yet. We do have one Penwood grad who she graduated in June, who is assisting in the registration department, and she's wonderful. So we got lucky with that one, and hopefully we'll get lucky with the other ones too.
That sounds great. Continue to bring people from within. That is a wonderful opportunity to continue that. So thank you. That's all I have. Does anyone else have any questions or concerns or comments? Okay, hearing none. We can adjourn this evening.
Thank you
again,
all.
and have a wonderful evening.
You
Thank you,
also.
everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.